So moving forward, what can the international community, maybe Britain in particular, can do for Hong Kong, considering the Chinese Communist Party is a bad actor? They don't honor treaties and international agreements. What can actually be done to help the people of Hong Kong?
Well, what we've done so far is to give about 150,000 or 140,000 of them passports to come and live here. Be honest, that's about it. I mean, we can't send a gunboat in, but we can point out to other people in other countries which purport to believe that the Chinese always keep their word, what happened with us and what has happened with the agreements they made with the WTO, the agreements they made with the World Health Organization. And one real concern, I think, is that when you look at climate change, we are going to have to strike international agreements. And the likelihood is that those will involve costs and sacrifices for people. And democracies, not without difficulty, will do that. And then having to explain to their citizens in a democracy how it is that the Chinese are getting away with not doing it. And I think it's a fundamental problem for democracies to deal with that in the future. One of our best judges made this point the other day when talking about how secure democracy was. So anyway, I think we have to be absolutely determined to go on expressing our own values, being prepared to fight for our own values. But one of the politicians I always most admired was Adlai Stevenson, who did everything right as a politician, except he lost too many elections. And he said, we have not only to fight for our values, but live up to them. And I'm not sure how good we are at the moment in living up to them. But I hope. Anyway, we've got a foreign secretary of Britain at the moment. I'm sure a perfectly nice man who's in China. When he was in opposition, he believed passionately in having an international agreement on whether or not what the Chinese were doing in Xinjiang against the Uyghurs was legally genocide. Anyway, he seemed to have given all that.
Let's end on a positive note. Favorite memory of Hong Kong?
I like that.
The decency and humor of people. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful harbor, mountains. The countryside is, to people's surprise, dramatic and lovely. But above all, it's the enthusiasm. I mean, people created Hong Kong out of nothing. It was a harbor and nothing else. And the people who made Hong Kong were refugees. One of the stupidest things that the Chinese Communist Party did when they were screwing Hong Kong and rewriting the curriculum in schools was to say that Hong Kong had never been a colony. It had been occupied territory. What they never noted was that, yes, it had been occupied territory, but occupied by refugees from China, who were the very people whose children were having to read these textbooks. Jimmy Lai now has been in prison for 1,000 days, the newspaper proprietor. Chinese hate him. He'd stowed away from China during the Cultural Revolution. done spectacularly well in a safe haven, a British colony. Now he's been in prison for 1,000 days or more in solitary confinement for 23 hours and 10 minutes a day. He's a Catholic. They don't allow him to have communion. Just in another little vengeful twist. They can be very nasty. But I remember the courage and bravery and decency and charm and humor of the people who worked with me and for me. And certainly for me and for my family, the happiest time we've had in our life. So thank you, Hong Kong.
And thank you for joining us today. This was an amazing experience to hear.
Thank you very much indeed. Nice to talk to you.